All right, good afternoon, everybody. I am Julie Armstrong. This is the second time that I've been invited to come and speak at MarketsWiki. So I want to thank John Lothian and team for having me here. I'm a little bit of a pacer, so I could start going circular on the stage, so we'll kind of see how it goes. I do see some friends out there, so hi to you guys. So who am I, what do I do, and what am I here to talk to you about? So I have been in the world of financial technology for 17 years. That makes me feel really old standing in front of you all, but I'm not that old yet. At least I hope not. But I've been doing this for 17 years. I went to the University of Kentucky, and since I'm speaking to a bunch of college students, I want to poll, is anyone from Kentucky? All right, you just passed up a free internship. So, all right, so it's second year in a row. I'm 0 for 2, so free internship maybe next time. You know, and I was actually going to start off by saying that I'm going to give John some feedback for next year, because like what I'm here to talk to you about is like talking to people and networking, and I do that better when I can like actually sit down and talk to you and we can have a conversation, right? So next year I might ask John if maybe my segment can be just like, you know, Q&A and like having some interaction, because I think that's really important as you're developing relationships with people. So maybe next year, John. All right, so a little bit about me. I started my career off after graduating from the University of Kentucky. How many contacts in finance do you think I had? Throw out a number. No guesses? Oh, I'm going to make you all talk to me. 0, that's right. So I graduated in 97, and I went off and I studied abroad in France and Italy, kind of back to back. And then I said to my parents were like, I'm sorry, you're not going to come home and get a job. And I said, no, I'm going to go study for a little bit. I'm going to learn the world. I'm going to meet people. I'm going to go talk to them and figure out what I want to do. How many of you guys know what you want to do for the rest of your lives right now going in college? 1? All right, for those of you on the tape, when you're watching this, there's about 90 people in this room, so 1 person. I think that's about right, because when I was in college, I had no idea. My dad I wanted to be a journalist, actually, and my dad was like, oh no, you know, I'm not paying for college for that. You're going to have to find a business degree. Go figure it out. I was like, well, I don't even know what business options there are. So what am I going to do with that? So I started off with accounting. That failed miserably. I'm too social for accountants. And then I moved over into international economics and foreign languages. So I learned how to talk numbers. I'm a girl kind of good at math, I would say. And then I learned how to speak people in multiple languages. And that was really cool to me. Because I could kind of translate that in different cultures. And even if I didn't speak Spanish to a Spanish speaker, the fact that I would kind of try in other languages, like it was relatable, right? And I love that because people really, really responded to it. So the one thing, though, my dad did do, you know, I did grow up, like I said, in Kentucky. So I grew up riding horses and playing a lot of sports. And basically one day, you know, he picked me up. My parents were divorced. He picked me up and he said, we're going to go golf today. What? Why are we going to do that? And he's like, because you're going to get your business degree, like I promised you, and I'm going to teach you how to play golf. So I was like, oh boy. How many of you in the room think that I can like bowl a perfect game? I can, yes. So I was like, that's what I did with my dad. I was like, I bowled and I rode horses and I did a variety of things. I did dancing, but golfing was just not in my MO. So he says, no, you're going to learn how to play golf. So I want to thank my dad for that, because the reason for it is he said it's going to be a key for you to network in the world of business with men when you get older. So kind of learn how to do that. So I did. So a little bit about me. I'm sorry I'm talking about Kentucky a little bit. I get a little excited about my state and about my alma mater. But I want to kind of give you that background, because what I want to talk to you today is about how to network. Because like I said, I showed up here in Chicago and I knew no one. I had 2 girlfriends. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I had a college degree in international business. I spoke a few languages, but I was like, wow, what am I going to do? And someone took a shot with me. And so I started off in 2002, and I worked for a small software company called Townsend Analytics. They sold an execution management tool. I worked there for 9 years. But I did things like account management and kind of built my way up. I started doing sales, and then I started running the sales team. After kind of that tenure, I said, I wonder what I'm going to do next. Felt like I was at the, kind of at the end of the road at Townsend. It was a phenomenal way to start my career. That started in 2002. And then in 2008, a little something called Lehman Brothers happened, and why that's relevant, or Lehman Brothers the financial collapse happened, and Lehman Brothers was affected. And the reason that is so important, kind of as a milestone in my career, is in 2002 I started at Townsend, and 2005 Lehman Brothers bought my company. And for those 3 years, I just had a phenomenal career path working with the best on the street with Lehman Brothers, learning how to sell into the marketplace. So, started off my career working at a small software company in Kentucky, started networking with large institutional banks out in New York and in London and in Hong Kong, and, really, just got my feet under me in, how to get out in the world and sell and position market technology, software into the industry. I don't have enough time to go into like what we did and how we did it, but it's an interesting story. But when Lehman came in and bought us in 2005, they had been a small account of mine for probably like 6 months. And I had started building some relationships with people there, and really was kind of hitting my head against the wall because we weren't really selling a whole lot. And but a couple terminals that I sold came, and some relationships were building, and then no one was telling me on the low gal on the totem pole in sales that Lehman Brothers was actually about to buy our company. But one day I'm sitting in our office, and I'm in literally like, I think, a Rolling Stones t-shirt that says you can't always get what you want, and a pair of jeans and some flip-flops because it was a small software company. And I got tapped on the shoulder and said, come to the CEO principal's office. And I said, oh no, what have I done? And they said, nothing, come up and talk to us. And I said, okay. So I get up there, and all these head guys at Lehman who I kind of briefly met, like, walking the floor trying to do my sales job, were up there. And they said, we're about to announce to the world that we're buying the company, and we want you to be responsible for the relationship management between Lehman Brothers and Realtek. And I thought, wow, really, me? And I said, why me? And they said, well, because you've built relationships. You've been up here. You've been working with us. You've been a lot of feet on the ground. And we like you, and we trust you. And so we think you can do it. We're gonna career start you. And so that was probably one of the proudest moments in my career, absolutely ever. I worked with the best on the street for 3 years. 08 happened. It absolutely broke my heart. But we recovered. Barclays stepped in, bought the equities division of Lehman. I'll spare you the history lesson. It is an interesting one. But I stayed there for a couple more years, and then I said, gee, what am I gonna do next? And so then I looked into my network, and I, thought, this really interesting company across the street called CME Group. I don't really know about what they do. Realtek was more focused on equities and options, so we worked more with NYSE and NASDAQ and some other players, so I didn't really know much about CME and futures, but somebody in my network did, and I had lunch with him and said, Jeff, can you help me understand what somebody like me could do at CME Group? And he said, actually, over there, I think they're looking for someone to come in and start positioning their technology and start, launching something called their colocation business. And they're looking for someone to run sales, and I think you'd be great for that. So that man ended up being he was on the board of directors of CME in my network, got me a lead into it, and I said, great, thank you so much. You got my resume in front of the right person. I did the rest. I ended up working there 8 years. I ran sales for Colo Business Development for, through the tenure of it, I guess. I created the first technology sales organization that they had called Market Technology Sales. And after that, I ran the business line. So let me first define what market technology is. So to us, it was software. We had a chat tool. We had an execution management tool. We had connectivity. Services out to our customers. We had colocation, and we had market data. And we basically had a lot of silos at the time to sell all of that infrastructure to clients. But a lot of clients made trading decisions using that whole collection of technology. So what we did was we assimilated it, and we put it all together under one team. And so it was better for the client, better for the company, helping understand commercial value around that, but also really understanding the tools and how best to invest in that going forward. So I did that for a number of years. I was there 8 years total. Couple of the things that I did there, and I want to thank John for kind of the 50-50 rule on speakers. One of the gals that you saw earlier, Rumi Morales, one of the things that she and I did at CME Group together, we literally started, I think, 2 months apart. And before our first year was up, we decided to bring together the first women's network that CME had ever had. In fact, we actually started the very first employee network group that CME had. And it was not just the two of us. We had other lovely ladies that put their heads together and said, wow, women are really good at networking. We are women around the company that, I get the opportunity to go out and speak and meet. I'm running teams globally. How do I help everybody else do that? Right? How do I use the power of my network to help everybody else in the company? And it really caught on. And there was a gal that really was driving that idea and brought us all to the table, but it really was inspiring. So through that, I met so many women across the company, mentored so many women across the company. Again, the power of the network, and we brought it forward in that company. Absolutely one of the best things that I did. It still stands today. I was on the board for years of it and then transitioned out to let others come in. So that was my time at CME. Absolutely loved it. So you're probably going, well, that doesn't say CME up there. Why'd you leave? So about a year ago, I had come to a decision that I wanted to start learning how to run my own company. I'd run sales for a long, long time. I was running some, business lines, and I absolutely loved it. I absolutely loved my team, but I wanted to learn how to run my own company. And so I decided to leave, and I went to actually a startup firm based here in Chicago. And it was outside of finance completely, and it was, completely outside of corporate. And whilst, Realtic was a small software company, I was used to kind of the big bank mentality, and then CME Group is, a large, globally focused company with a couple thousand people. But I made a mistake in doing that. So I left last year. Not that the company I went to was a mistake. It's a great company. But I made a mistake because I did one thing wrong there. I chose to leave my network. And I got 250 LinkedIn posts, literally messaged me. 250 saying, Julie, where are you going? Why are you going? And I said, I just got this great opportunity and I want to explore my network and I want to explore, other industries and other opportunities. But I left my network, and single-handedly, I think that was why it did not work for me. It wasn't the company. It was, I owned that decision, but I left my network and I left corporate, which is what I knew. So I course corrected. And I tell you that kind of lesson really quickly. We need more time, but because that's going to be a big part of what you're going to go through over the next few years. That's why I asked you, do you know what you want to do? No, you don't know what you want to do. You have no idea everything out there that there is to do, nor should you. So you got to explore. Go out there, talk to people, leverage a network, talk to your parents, friends, figure out what's out there, figure out what you want to do, right? So I course corrected. I'm now actually Chief Commercial Officer at ChartIQ. It's a small Virginia-based company. I still live here. I have teams globally. We sell charting, visualization tools, and a desktop interoperability tool. That's a whole lesson for another day. But absolutely love finance. So I'm going to leave you with just a couple things, kind of continue with our power of people. How many of you have looked at your phones today? That's a trick question everybody has, right? Everybody's got a phone. How many of you have looked at Facebook today? Right. How many of you looked at LinkedIn? Yes. Okay. So power of network. Relating to where my career started, it was probably the best thing ever to be a salesperson, right? But in 2002, LinkedIn started, right? I don't know if you knew that. I didn't actually know the year until I looked it up this morning, but 2002 it started. That's when I started 17 years ago. And LinkedIn is amazing, isn't it? I mean, this isn't a LinkedIn commercial, but if you really think about the networking power it has 575 million users on it. 260 million active on a monthly basis. Microsoft bought it for $26 billion. That's, if you think about it, that's just a value of network, right? Think about the value of a financial, not just financial, but career network was that. I wrote some other stats down. 20 million companies are listed on it, 14 million jobs, right? So it's the power of the people. It's leveraging network. And what that network in LinkedIn does do that all of us kind of pre-2002 didn't have, we didn't have the ability to say, who do you know and who do you know and who do you know? It can multiply, right? So I tell you this for a couple reasons, and I'm going to close here, is know that if I know you and you know him, then you have to really make sure that every interaction that you're having with people is meaningful. So don't just get wrapped up in your electronic or the social media aspects of relationship management. Make sure you're building those relationships with people. Make sure that those are meaningful, because that guy is going to tell that guy he knows you, and he's going to tell that gal who might be a hiring manager, don't hire this person or absolutely hire this person. Like, now your network is just exposed, right? But that's so cool, but it's also kind of scary, right? If you don't want to be as public and out there. So use it to your benefit. Use it to figure out what you want to do. Use it to get information, right? Use it and propel kind of the good reputation and the good work that you're going to put forward, and your good work that you put out there to circulate it. So I wish we had more time, but listen, the power of networking, super important for all of us. Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon.
We read dozens of news sources, so you only have to read one. John Lothian News.